What's up, gamers? My name is Patty Fatty Cake, and I've been playing this game for quite some time. Whoa there, we're not going to be looking at that today. Today we're going to be looking at the 10 worst things in old school RuneScape, and speaking of which, just while I'm filming this, look at that. That's a contender. Instead of just naming off the 10 worst skills in the game one after another, I'm going to break this up by categories. I'm going to give you the worst piece of content of each category with some honorable mentions. Competition for the worst quest in old school RuneScape is fierce. Is it the classic one small favor? Is it the underground pass with the impossible agility shortcut? There is one quest that shines above all of the rest in a competition for being the worst. This title goes to none other than rat catchers. This quest isn't the worst because it's super long, super difficult, super technical, or anything like that. It's just super duper old and buggy. There's this part where you're in a mansion trying to avoid getting caught, and I swear these guards, without any rhyme or reason, can just see around or through every corner. Here's a diagram on the wiki showing you how to solve this, because I would rather self-castrate than do this quest again. I haven't done this quest since the Quest Helper plugin was created. I hope that it has alleviated some of the frustration that myself and other players have felt in the past. Listen, it's no secret that I don't enjoy skilling. I have entire videos devoted to how much I dislike the mining skill. After discovering the volcanic mine, this is no longer, in my opinion, the worst skill in old school RuneScape. That title now belongs to agility. Let's take a quick little peek at our skills interface here. So what does make a good skill? For me, a good skill has to be either enjoyable or able to get over with very quickly. So what we're going to be focusing on is the skills that are neither enjoyable nor fast. So let's take a look at the slowest skills. Fishing. Fishing has a ton of different methods that you can do in order to raise it up, and most importantly, it does have an option to AFK, and then it has options that are more involved that do net you a greater EXP per hour. The same can be said for woodcutting, and woodcutting also has the advantage of redwoods, which is just the best skilling method in the game, hands down. Runecrafting has some great AFK options with Zaya, Slayer is the most enjoyable skill in the game, and agility is just god awful. There is no AFK method to train this activity. You have to be clicking the entire time, no matter how you want to train it. There is no option for AFK in this skill. And I know some weasel is going to come down in the comments and mention the bike at the blast furnace, and honestly, you dude. The only real options to train this skill are either rooftops or sepulcher. The worst minigame in old school RuneScape also happens to be the worst overall content in the game. That's right, boys, we're talking about the Mage Training Arena. For the uninitiated, you have to collect points in 4 separate little minigames, if you could even call them that, in order to rack up points, and you can spend these points in the reward shop. The EXP gained is super miserable, and the amount of grinding that you have to do in each one of these 4 games is absolutely insane. Now, I get it. It might seem a little bit silly that I'm complaining about this so much, but take a look at the rewards here. There's some cool stuff, admittedly, but if we look down at the right, the total time needed to complete any of these is insane. This is if you are perfect. The times that it's going to take you personally is going to be considerably more than this, because you are not going to be clicking everything exactly perfectly on all of this. Most of the stuff you honestly do not need, but you essentially do need to unlock Bones to Peaches, which should take you roughly 6+ hours. And then if you're an Iron Man, you absolutely need Bones to Peaches, you need your Master Wand, and you will also need Infinity Boots, which just takes an immense amount of time. The only good thing from this minigame is this goofy ass hat they give you. But hey, if that doesn't sound too bad to you, go on, go give it a try, come back, and you can tell me that I was right. Kind of a weird one, but I was running out of categories to think of, so what is the worst achievement diary in the game. If we're looking at overall diaries, I do think Karamja is the most difficult, and the reason for Karamja being the most difficult, there we go, alphabetical, is one task in general, and that is the, where we go, craft 56 nature runes from 1 essence, which requires 91 rune crafting. The time that it takes to get 91 rune crafting is much higher than any requirement from any of the other diaries in the game. That being said, I don't think this is the worst diary task. I want to give another honorable mention before we move on to the winner of this category, and that is the Bones to Peaches for the Lumbridge Elite Diary. I know we just had the worst minigame, which is the Mage Training Arena, and you have to do a ton of that for the Bones to Peaches, making this one a pretty bad. I'd call this the second worst diary step, just because this is, it's the worst minigame, you have to do a lot of it, but the worst diary requirement, or the worst diary to complete, the requirement's not that bad, is definitely worse than this one. Behold, in all of its glory. Is anybody getting some PTSD right now? The Kelpite Queen head is required for completing the Desert Elite Diary. This is a 1 out of 128 drop from the Kelpite Queen, which if you haven't tried her, it's a really difficult boss to kill a lot of very quickly because it is an old boss. She does a ton of unavoidable damage. There is a pity drop for this at 256, so you might have to kill 256 of them, and the best part about that, I'm about to show you here, there's a shortcut that will allow you to get to her very quickly. However, you need this diary in order to use the shortcut, in order to kill her more quickly. If you do not have the diary done, which you won't because you have to go for the head, you have to run all the way around there and finally reach her lair. It might not seem like it, but if you're only getting 1 to 3 kills per trip, you're going to be running this a lot. So that is why this one is the worst task in the game. If you guys are liking the video, make sure that you don't forget to like the video. It helps me out tremendously in getting found in the search and all of that. If you are liking this, make sure that you do subscribe because I am going to be flipping this and doing the best one of every category for the next video, so you won't want to miss it, and back to the content. So when it comes to combat achievements, there's a ton that are really difficult, and this one is not going to be the most difficult. It's not going to be the hardest one to get. Nowhere near that. This one's actually one of the easier ones. I think it's a medium tier, but essentially you have to complete a Temperos with full angler, which doesn't sit right by me. I guess I just don't know what having this has to do with combat achievements at all. I really do think that this task should be deleted from the game. Definitely not the hardest or the most frustrating or anything like this, but this one is definitely the worst one from just a concept standpoint. As far as bad bosses go, there's a few contenders that I can think of. We've already spoke about the Kelpite Queen. A lot of the old bosses are kind of the same. They do a ton of damage, most of it is unavoidable. The KBD comes to mind, but he is a little bit more manageable. If you can tell by my inventory, I think most of you know where we're going. That's right, boys. You guessed it. We are killing the Chaos Elemental. The Chaos Ellie is the worst boss in Oldschool Runescape. It has this super fun mechanic where it teleports you all over the place. It does tons of unavoidable damage. You can pray against one style, but it does the other styles too. And it does that super cool thing right there where it unequips your gear for you, and it keeps on doing it over and over again. It's just super annoying to kill. It does a ton of damage, and it's in Deep Wilderness in multi. What more can you ask for if you are trying to make the worst boss in Oldschool Runescape? The worst sound, another super weird category, but I just had to put this in here. And no, it's not the Discord pinging noise. You know, I put those in the videos because I want a few of you to know what it feels like to have friends and everything, but let me head over to the GE and show you what the worst sound in Oldschool Runescape is. Alright gamers, I'm gonna need you to max out your speakers, unplug your headset, and just blast that shit for everybody in your household to hear. Let me take the condom off here, and we're gonna let this thing go. If you were curious, it's gonna be plank make. Worst clue is really up for debate. I know everybody immediately when they saw worst clue on there, they were thinking the Dragon's Eye, which is potentially the worst. If not, it's a really close runner-up. since you basically have to redo the entire Legends quest. But one of my least favorite clues is the Skull Ball step. Basically, you have to score in a game of Skull Ball. It just takes really long, it's out of the way, and it's not really good, right? So basically, what you do is you get this Skull Ball, and then you have to tap it through all of the things. So you can like kick it, it goes a little bit further, but essentially you have to take it all the way around this course. I'm not going to do it now because it does suck, and then score a goal at the very end. It takes forever, and honestly, it's like worth dropping your clue for this one. I am really torn on what is the worst collection log slot in Old School RuneScape. It's gotta be either the Stale Baguette, which you get as a rare drop from either the Sandwich Lady, which is nice because it's a lot more common now, or you get it from Mystery Box from the Quizmaster. It's just insanely RNG dependent. There's nothing you can do in the game to grind it out. You just have to get super lucky from a random event. It just sucks to get. I really want to get one. The other contender, I'm gonna do a two-way tie, is the Evil Chicken outfit, which looks sick as hell. Look at that. Like, what's not to love about this fit right here? But it's just extremely rare. You get it from Bird's Eggs sacrificing them at the Bird's Nest sacrificing thing. Not really sure what to call it. But it's just super duper rare. Kind of like everything else, like the Bird's Eggs aren't really grind outable. You can get them from your kingdom, you can get them from Bird's Nest, but it's not something that you can just sit down and just like grind out. Sure, you can chop trees, but your odds of getting a Bird's Egg are so astronomically low, it's really not worth doing. Now for the worst pet in the game is clearly the Hell Puppy. Just kidding. People seem to get all their feathers ruffled about the Hell Puppy for some reason. It's an okay pet. It's kind of in the middle there. Anyways, the worst pet in the game has to be a two-way tie. I could not decide between them. It's either the Golem or the Heron. Skilling pets are inherently more lame than PVM pets, which automatically puts all of the skilling pets towards the bottom of the tier list. And the Golem and the Heron, I just feel, are the most dull. The Heron's probably the most common one. I see it following around bots all day long, and the Golem just, is kind of just bleh. So for that reason, I do think that these are the worst pet in the game. If I had to pick one, Heron probably takes the win. I don't know, they're about the same. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you did enjoy the video. If you did, leave a like, subscribe to the channel for more similar content, and I will see you in the next one.